everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Sorcery. Right, in the last session we managed to screw up our meeting with a nobleman by the name of Lord Lorak. He knew, as we were told, one of the spell words for the North Gate. We went there with a view of prizing that word from his lips, but Heinrich failed miserably, unfortunately. And I believe he had 2 bites of the cherry, but still failed miserably. And now he finds himself in a graveyard, broke, and soon to be starving. On the plus side, the North Gate is just up the road. But without any spell words at all, getting through said gate may prove to be problematic. Anyway, for now, we shall continue on as best we can. There's no way to backtrack, so I assume we're going to make it to the North Gate. What happens when we get there? I do not have a clue. But we are going to explore anything and everything that we can possibly explore, if only to look for scraps of food or a loose coin or two. There are several tombs here. There must have been a recent plague on the rich in the city. They are scattered around in roughly alphabetical groups. Well, we might as well go in order, starting with explorations of A to F. You browse around the tombs looking for a name you recognise, but none of them catch your eye. Something flitters past your face. A bat? Yeah. A bat, nothing more sinister than that, surely, as we continue our exploration of the tombs. You browse through the tombs, but only one stands out, the name Krishanti. You cannot immediately place where you have seen it before, but it is a very new grave, the earth all but freshly tilled. The grave bears a curious inscription, "I will not forgive your passing, or those who aided it." Signed, L. Further exploration? Nothing immediate. So we've got Prayer, Reef and Shinva catching Heinrich's eyes, but he cannot say why. Looking at Prayer's gravestone, nothing special about it, except how new it seems to be. The stone has barely weathered at all, as if poor Prayer might have only been buried last week. If that's true, however, no one has left her flowers. You walk over to Rift's tomb, but it seems quite ordinary. An angel with a covered face, and beneath its clawed feet, a dying serpent. Between the serpent's open jaws hangs a bone bracelet. Don't think there's anything lucrative to be had from pilfering a bone bracelet. Had it been a gold bracelet encrusted with diamonds, perhaps we may have pilfered it, but we're not going to rob a grave for a bone bracelet. Who knows what manner of bones they are? You leave them be, or how angry their original owner might be if you were to put the bracelet on your wrist. You leave it be. Then suddenly you hear a deep moan and the rattle of chains. Something is clouding the air in front of you. It's a death wraith. "This land is cursed for the living," the death wraith moans, raising its ghostly spectral arms and holding out bony fingers. "You must become dead." Not on your Nelly, pal. Alright, we're going to look at what spells we can cast that may be of use to us. And then we're going to make a run for it, because Hellfire and Brimstone, we really don't fancy dancing with a wraith right now. So Dud, I imagine, is going to be this, or Dumb. We could make the ghost clumsy whilst we make our escape. That doesn't seem like a bad idea. Okay. G, you can go for Gak, which calls fear. Can't do that, but we could go Gum to create glue, but we don't have a vial of glue. Alright, okay. What about W spells? Walk is a shield. I should know these by now, shouldn't I? W-A-L, wall, creates an invisible wall around us. That's probably no good either. T, we've got some T spells here. Tell seems to be reading minds. No, that's not going to be handy right now. Okay, it was just the one T spell. And did we have a H spell? Hot for a fireball. Could be useful to get us off to a good start. But I'm thinking a bit of clumsiness. I'm thinking a touch of clumsiness and then a quick escape. You cast a spell over the dead wraith, but it seems to have no effect. The spell can addle and confuse the mind of the living, but the death wraith has no mind to addle, only a false and empty skull. You ready your sword and strike at the death wraith, but the blade passes straight through. It seems normal weapons cannot harm this creature, but when it lashes out with the back of its hand, you feel that well enough. Run for it, please. You don't need to be told twice. You turn and race away down the path to the edge of the graveyard, with the wraith following slowly, but unstoppably behind. And we make an escape very quickly. Hopefully. Okay. Beside the gate is a disused well, perhaps once used to draw water to wash the bodies before interment. I must imagining this wraith is still sort of shambling, floating after us at this point. Would we stop? Oh, look, a well. Shall we, yes, ignore the well and push on? This is purely for roleplay reasons. Unless the creature is that slow that it's miles. Perhaps it's just there, a quick pull-up of the bucket. Maybe, whilst this wraith is shambling very slowly behind us, we have just enough time, perhaps, to pull it up, see what's inside. Clear water. Fresh water in a graveyard. Not going to risk it. Let's just get the hell out of here. The rear gate of the graveyard hangs from its hinges, but not from age. It seems it has been taken apart, maybe widened even, to let something through. Beyond is a deep forest. Oh boy. And we're going to reach a split path, one leading to a rather strange construction, the other to the north gate. We're getting there. You walk for half an hour through thick trees along a narrowing track until you reach a fork in the road. To the left the track gets narrower still. To the right a massive shadow looms, so large it seems as though a colossus has seated itself on the wall in thought. A chill wind blows through you as though ghosts walk back and forth this way. We take a look at the shadowy shape. It's got a jagged silhouette. It is a ziggurat or ziggurat, with perhaps 100 steps leading to its apex. The trees whisper and move. We're going to make a move. Where are we making a move? To the ziggurat, of course. We need to explore everything possible at this moment in time, if only because we're clutching at straws right now. You stand at the base of a towering ziggurat, built from carved stone blocks, each the size of a hay bale. The temple rises higher than the city wall and positioned to catch the first star of the evening at its uppermost point, a moment which has just passed. Look for an opening. You tilt your head back, looking for an opening, and finally make one out. A small black dot, about a third of the way up, but even that is quite some climb. For the less devoted worshippers, a small gargoyle by the steps has an open mouth, ready to accept offerings. The gargoyle is carved in the shape of a small but spiky dog, with long claws, sharp horns, and a pointy beard, its mouth wide open and its tongue lolls out, with a coin-shaped slot at the back of its throat. Okay, we're going to climb. So we do. Hauling yourself up the first step. Either this ziggurat was built for giants, or ascending is an act of devotion. The next few steps are equally exhausting. You have to throw your pack up first and follow. Perhaps a spell might ease our passing? Although I'm struggling to think what spell would assist us going upwards, but Hey ho, let's just take a quick beat, shall we? Float in the air, perhaps? You cast a spell reducing your weight to that of a feather. The climb should now be effortless, and so onwards we go. You persevere. You climb quickly up the steps thanks to your spell, but as you climb higher, the going becomes easier. The temple's designers have built a clever optical illusion into the slope of the pyramid. Soon, each step is only waist height. You reach a halfway point almost as high as the city wall beyond and pause to rest. Friezes of gargoyles in polished metals ring the temple on this level. Whilst we're taking a breather, we shall admire the view. You pause to take in the view. From this side of the ziggurat you can see nothing but the top of the wall, and beyond, the gleaming darkness of the marshes of the backlands. We'll take a walk to the north face. You can see the path ahead running straight between wild and overgrown trees. It seems very few people come this way anymore. The north gate itself is now visible, however, and it appears deserted. Then you notice a point of light. A torch has been lit between the trees. You watch as the torches move through the trees toward the path. They are making slow progress, but they are moving towards the graveyard, and presumably from there on into town. The wind claws at you, trying to pull you to the earth. We will move on. We have not got this far to head back now. You climb for another 20 minutes up the steep stone steps until you are gasping and panting for breath once more. But finally you reach the dark opening that you saw from the base of the temple. The steps themselves continue up a little further, to the very peak. The opening is guarded by rock-sculptured images of unimaginable creatures. Beyond, you see a long, dark hallway with something large and gleaming at the far end. So we can enter or we can climb to the top. Well, as I said, we are at that point where we are trying our very best to explore everything. We're desperate. Coin, food, spell words, whatever it might be. We may find something somewhere. Ooh. You step into the temple. The hollow space amplifies your footsteps, and they echo eerily for several moments. On the floor, in gilt inlay, is written the name of the god who inhabits this space. It seems that this is the ziggurat of Kuruga the Gracious. You wait for a few heartbeats to see if you have disturbed anything. Nothing happens, and then you catch the tail of a gigantic snake slithering across the floor and disappearing into a crack in one wall. From the markings along its back, it looks highly poisonous. Oh, hellfire. We're getting a heartbeat sound as well, which is never good. But we do have the blessings of our god upon our side here, so if we do get into a mire, we do have a get out. So we should go inside. Oh, you enter the temple, but the snake still manages to catch you by surprise, launching itself from a crack in the ceiling behind you. Okay. So we are battling a poisonous snake. Now, it doesn't have a lot of stamina, but neither do we. But we have to be careful here. I think we're going to go halfway here. I don't think he's going to lash out with his full force. I think he may even defend, so we won't go too high. But this should be fine. Ah! The temple snake snaps and hisses at the air between you. You slash out at it, hoping to sever its head as it shoots forward, sinking its fangs into your arm. Okay, well that was a very bad start. We're bitten and really in trouble now. Is it going to defend? We're on the back foot. Do we risk? He's probably used his entire energy here, so he's probably going to defend this, I would guess. So I'm going to go for a very small attack. Oh, shoot in hellfire. This is very bad indeed. The temple snake stays close. You try a quick stab, but it moves like water, and your blade seems to pass straight through it. It knocks you backwards into the main part of the temple. Your head spins. The snake has you backed up against the temple wall. It hisses from the darkness. It's looking like it's going to attack us here. I'm going to go full brunt of this. If it defends, so be it. Boom! You wait as the temple snake shifts, foolishly exposing its belly. Then you attack. You cleave the air with your sword. It slips away from beneath your blade. Its head tumbles backward onto the stone. I don't know if we've got enough with 3.2, so I think we're going to actually defend here. And we still take 2 damage. You drop into a crouch. The temple snake tries to knock you over with its thick neck, but you duck. You fall badly as you stagger back. It disappears into the shadows of the temple, and we are so close to death. We're going to go for it. We're going full-out attack here. We're going to go for a cut. Snake defends. You give chase as the snake winds between a group of gargoyles and loses sight of you behind a pillar. You bring your blade in heavily, drawing sparks from the stones below, but the temple snake recoils, hissing and spitting. The snake lashes out wildly in agony. It lifts up, burying its mighty fangs, dripping with poison. We don't have enough to beat it. We're going to have to defend. One more blow and we are dead. You fall back. The temple snake strikes. You desperately defend yourself again. Its poison-soaked fangs. Your vision is blurred and your sword feels almost too heavy to wield in your hands. It spits in the gloom. If it defends, it's game over. Oh, we've got it! Holy cow! Shameful. Absolutely shameful. We're almost dead. You wipe your sword clean and wait for the violent echoes of the fight to fade away. Then you go further in. The sight of the shrine takes your breath away. The walls are decorated with brightly coloured murals depicting scenes from the religious mythology of Kare. Fine ornaments in precious metals are set into alcoves around the pews, and rich woven tapestries cover every surface. A cunning trick of architecture catches the wind past the doorway and creates a constant ethereal humming, as though a crowd of monks sat in permanent meditation inside. Shooting hell. We need to pray for some healing, man. We are in a very, very bad situation. At the far end of the hallway, 4 large stone gargoyles of winged demons watch over the shrine from mounts high up in the eaves guarding the altar on which a gigantic idol squats. Korga himself. Let's continue. You walk up toward the altar across a rich patterned carpet. Something about it gives you pause. Its surface is decorated with wide symbols that seem too deliberate to be accidental. We can't cast a spell. We have no stamina to cast a spell. We could walk across. There's going to be traps here. There are going to be traps here, and we do not know which traps are going to... Okay, we're going to pray for healing. And then we're going to cast, hopefully, a spell that allows us to suspect danger. I think, is it susp or something? Sus? Sense danger. There we go. You cast a spell and a clear, calm voice enters your mind and informs you that there is indeed a trap in the rug in front of you. But before it can tell you where, a second presence enters your mind. Booming, it declares, "Make your choice, worshipper." Korga himself, perhaps? Oh, damn. Right, okay. Avoid the star shapes. Oh dear. No. We're falling. Hell, fire, and brimstone. You are floating slowly down through the air, turning over and over. You are in pitch blackness. You cannot see a thing. Then a spot of light appears. It grows wider and wider until finally you emerge to a fate that is nearly worse than death. Another trip in the sewer. You have landed in a disgusting pile of unbelievable filth, slime, excrement, sludge, dung and dregs, all the way up to your neck. You are evidently in the sewers of Kare. Ugh. You start to struggle up to your feet when a splashing sound to your left draws your attention to a small opening in the right wall next to your ear. Something is coming. Duck! You take a deep breath, swallow your pride, and duck down into the foul sludge. When you come up for air, the deluge has gone. You clean yourself off the best you can. Oh my God. Where am I exactly? You stand in a cavernous sewer tunnel, filled knee-deep with slow flowing, stench-filled water. It is pitch black. You could be standing on a mountaintop or inside a coffin, except that is for a single speck of light somewhere in the far distance. I see no need to dither in such a foul place. Tunnels disappear off into the darkness. Hide, head towards the light, or head away from the light. It seems almost too tempting for us to follow the light, but I suppose we really must. You make your way up the tunnel toward the distant light. It is slow progress as you creep through the dark, keen not to trip over the muck. The distant light grows closer. Whatever it is moving quicker than you. Ice-cold water drips from the ceiling and runs down your neck. We can call out, we can wait, or we can retreat. We're gonna call out. Who goes there? The marching feet stop instantly. There is a pause. Show yourselves! The pause continues. Oh my God. And suddenly the walls are filled with a blood-curdling cry, like molten iron filling a crucible. The feet began to pound forward, approaching at speed. Retreat! Shadows move in the far gloom of the sewers. Hide! You duck into an alcove in the wall of the tunnel. You wait, and within a few moments the tunnel is filled with goblins. There are not one or two, but a whole army, led by a tall, stocky elder goblin, and chanting a weird, guttural song. Stay low. Oh my God. They march straight up to where you are crouching in the dark. 100, maybe 200 of the creatures. What are they doing here beneath Kare? Inside the city walls? We wait in the tense silence as the goblins march past your hiding place. At the rear are 2 goblin generals. How many more soldiers does the Mad King want? The first asks the second as they pass your position. Thousands, the second replies, then spits. But he'll get what he gets. That he will, the first agrees, testing his blade on his thumb. The 2 walk on, still talking in muttering voices. The goblins are tramping away up the sewer, and we have found a new clue. The goblin army, massing for an attack. Oh boy. We are going to follow the goblins now. I don't see why not. You trail along behind the goblins like a shadow. This is a bad idea. The Backland tribes are ready, the first goblin general hisses. The second goblin makes a chittering noise, something close to a laugh. Ready to run through this city like a river of molten steel at a word from the king. A few words, the first goblin replies, but I have learnt a few myself. Ear, one hisses, stopping suddenly and cocking an ear. What was that? Nothing. You freeze. The goblins keep walking away out of earshot, not stopping. They do not look round, but continue talking in low voices. We continue to try to tail them. The tunnel turns a corner. Something glints from the side of the sewer. We take a quick look at it. It's a vial of potion. Sniff it. Blimberry. Quaff it now. In fact, we had a load of blimberries in our... If we've got a load of potions in our pack we could have taken rather than praying to our god, I suppose, previously. But never mind. We can still quaff them if we need them. Okay, let's continue our chase. Actually, just double check something here. So you've got 4 doses of blimberry, but we also have this potion of mystery. So if all goes to rack and ruin and we are desperate, we'll just we'll quaff this mysterious potion and hope that it gives us insane strength. But anyway, I think 7 stamina is okay for now. Unless we get caught by one of these goblins. You're back in the earshot of the goblins. You know one of the lines? One goblin is quizzing the other. The goblin spits in agreement. I overheard the man king whisper it to himself. His voice drops for a moment and you only hear the second half of what he says. And Forger's pride. Just then, you see more lights up ahead. It seems the sewer is opening out into a wider space. No, we're not turning back. Let's go. Let's have a nosy. Peering through, you see a huge chamber, like an underground cathedral. Water pours in through narrow channels and openings high in the walls, and several wooden ladders disappear upwards. But your eyes are taken by the centre of the room. It is filled with goblins, like a ship's hold filled with rats. They swarm around one another, clashing swords and baring teeth. In the middle of them all, on an improvised throne, sits a man, hunched low. He wears a metal circlet on his head. We're going to slip inside. This is very dangerous. Very dangerous. It is warm with the fetid breath of 1,000 creatures who drink and laugh and clash swords down in the muck. On his throne their king seems to be sleeping, or else they have killed him by accident. He is a man, not a goblin. How does he control this rabble? The man is thin, as if he has not eaten in months, and pale, as if he has been in the dark just as long. His hair is long and grey, and he slumps over the side of his throne as though desperately ill. His clothes are long, soiled robes that perhaps were once quite fine. On his head he wears a grey circlet of dull silver metal you cannot quite place. The king coughs suddenly. The effect is bizarre. At the noise, every goblin in the great chamber freezes and looks up. We look at the circlet. You cannot place the material. It does not seem to be iron or the steel of a blade, but it is not precious either. The king treats it gingerly, as though it was made of glass. The king pushes on the arm of his chair, attempting to stand, and shivers and falls down. "Silence!" he whispers. The chamber is suddenly quiet. You wait, transfixed by the strange scene. The king fingers the circlet on his head, as if scared it will slip. "My creatures," he whispers, "the time is almost on us. As the night draws in, we will rise up and open the gates. We will rub this filthy city clean." He is broken off into a fit of coughing. We continue to wait and listen. "The long journey is nearly over," declares the king, raving with madness. "The process I began when I blinded Lord Theta and left him a beggar. Finally, the council will be destroyed and the city will be cleansed." You stay hidden and wait. A goblin close by your elbow murmurs, "How much longer do we have to listen to this?" His companion silences him with a talon to the arm. We maintain our hidden presence and wait. The king finally gets to his feet and raises a wizened arm into the air. "I will open the gates for you tonight," he cries, "and we will make this city pure." The king raises a cheer, and the goblins as one cheer back, throwing their swords up into the air. 1,000 blades flash, and the confusion when they land is extreme, every goblin cowering for cover and then squabbling to retrieve their blade. You stay hidden and wait. The king calls for silence, but the goblins do not hear him. They are still in a mess with their swords. The king calls again for silence, clutching his circlet with one hand. This time the goblins fall silent. You realise with a heavy heart that you have missed the best opportunity you will get to escape the chamber by the ladder. Ah. Okay. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Continue to wait then. Time to go. Right, we have found one new clue. So we can't go out by the ladder, which is just there, so we're going to have to all the way double back on ourselves. But not a problem, not a problem. Well, we're assuming. Probably it is going to be a problem. But we have found another clue. And the clue is, we have got half a spell line. By Fergus Pride. But do we need it? If these goblins are going to open gates for us, then we should be fine. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to where we were and head to the light.